Live and cooking?
Live and cooking. We are cooking with the good stuff. Let's get this up. Facebook, how we doing?
Howdy.
There we go. Okay. There we are.
Yeah, look at
Let's
that.
share that. Okay, 1 second, kids.
I feel naked without my notebook here.
I know, right?
All right.
Okay. There we go. I'll bring that up. And we're going to hit... Hey, there's the feedback that I love so much. Hey, Steve.
Mr.
How we
Nelson's
doing?
the first to jump on board.
Okay, here we go. Do you have something good? Think of something good real quick.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Caught me off guard here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the KCP Cocktail Hour. I'm your host, Wes. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You are? Uh-oh.
That's
You haven't even had a sip
I
yet.
know. No, I've had one sip.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
your host, Will, joined as always by my good friend, Wes. How we doing?
Fantastic.
Tonight, this is the first iteration of a show that we haven't actually named yet, but we're going by the Cocktail Hour right now because tonight, cheers to us.
Indeed.
We're having a cocktail. This is a fully fun show. We are going to be we're going to lose the politics, the business, all that good stuff. Just focus on sports, guy stuff, all of that fun, whatnot, good stuff. I'm sorry, I forgot how to speak English today. I promise you that will not be an overwhelming theme. Actually, I should probably bring my notes up as well.
Yeah, so we know what to talk about.
A little bit about the show, like I said in the opening there, is that it's going to be focused on more guy stuff, kind of like Platinum Moms, but for guys. And we'll be doing food stuff, drink stuff, sports stuff, guy stuff, dad stuff, all kinds of stuff. Someone hit the sauce early. No, actually I didn't, Steve, but we are going to make a regular part of this, doing like a cocktail review, beer review, something like that. So tonight, as you've seen us in the past, and Wes is killing his, by the way, we're having a Moscow Mule tonight with the old Chopin vodka because it's the, with my sensitive tummy, I've got to have the old gluten-free potato vodka. So, what are your thoughts on it so far? Notwithstanding the fact that I made the drink, so. Yeah. We know that.
Well, it
those
takes
always
it down
go
a
well.
couple notches, but other than that, it's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It takes it down, huh? I do have to say, if any of you guys are fans of the old Moscow Mules, if you don't know what they are, it's a pretty simple drink. It's just vodka, ginger beer, and lime. Now you can. We went to where do we go? Wildfin, and they actually put ginger, like some kind of ginger puree in it.
Oh.
Holy moly, that was good. I really liked that. It wasn't like crazy ginger.
I was because ginger can get overwhelming.
Yeah, no,
so.
it was not overwhelming in that sense. So anyway, but no, the ginger beer that I really like is this.
Did you say gingerbread?
No, ginger beer.
Oh.
That would have been really funny. I don't know why I seem like I'm having troubles with the language. No, but this Fever Tree, it doesn't give you any fevers.
Oh, that's good.
Except for the flavor of the ginger. But that's really good stuff. So, as always, though, in our shows, we like to start with something good that happened to us since the last time we recorded, which was Monday. What do you got for me?
I got the fact that we're kind of maybe honing in on... Well, I take it back because my wife will probably be... You okay over there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm really good.
My wife will probably be mad if I don't mention it, so I'll use that as my good thing. Is she won Blazers tickets?
Yes. Well,
like
you're stealing mine.
Oh,
okay, let's do it
well,
together.
You can carry it on then. So, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do it to us together. Yeah, this is going to be a fun show. So Tia at a dentist office, and she's in the comments, I can imagine already. She won Blazer tickets to the wonderful Blazers, who are actually playing tonight, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, also known as the Seattle Supersonics.
That's right.
And Tia, the reason it was good for them is because Tia won those. What's good for me is that Wes came over this evening and bestowed them upon me. So Tia, thank you very much for winning them and for instructing Wes to give them to me, Derek. And then this is the classic mistake I made. Wes says, yeah, you and Derek can go. I'm like, yeah. As Kim is off to my left, I'm like, oh, D, what happened? Kim's like, hey, I don't get to go? I'm like, oh, boy, I really ate one on that. I screwed that one up royally. So, yeah, no, that was really exciting. So thank you very, very much, Tia. I am, and as Derek is, because he actually, we've been talking about getting tickets to go, but it's a fairly cost-prohibitive experience.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's not just the ticket.
Oh, no, yeah. That's what I love is you get on there and you're like, oh, yeah, the $15 Blazer tickets. But then you're like, $20 to park. You got $5 for, nachos, which is literally cheese, and they took the Tostitos sauce and poured it into the thing. And then you get to dump that all over you. The best thing is to watch me walk around with all that.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually pretty much a ninja carrying things with my left hand. So I'll balance it. I'm like walking around like this, and people are, they don't understand that there's nothing holding that. So one trip, anything like that, and you're going to be wearing nacho cheese. Oh, yeah. You love basketball. I know. You love basketball almost as much as Wes does. Although you'd like basketball a little bit.
It's okay.
You're more of a college basketball fan,
yeah,
right?
Definitely. If I had to pick between college and pros, it'd be college.
Well, that's a good segue because last night we had a very big event happen, and it wasn't that Zion hurt his knee. It was the fact that the Nike shoe blew out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on the fact that it happened on national TV, and the big thing that the overwhelming deal on that was that Nike stock was going to go down and whatnot. And they said, what I loved was Paul George came out and he's like, I have a really high quality shoe.
Yeah.
As if that guy has anything to do.
As if he built the shoe himself.
We got Paul George in a sweatshop just hammering away on these $130 shoes. And did you know this? I heard I got to give Darren Rovell credit for this. His shoes are the least expensive of all of the brand name shoes, like $110 a pair.
Huh.
But yeah, no, Paul George, people were like asking him about it, and he was talking about how quality they are and all. It's like
it's his fault.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you have nothing. A designer in Beaverton ran those by you, and you're like, cool.
And they stamped your name on it.
Exactly. And they sent you a check for $20 million, and you're like, sweet, those are the best looking shoes I've ever seen. And they're the, I guess they're the Kmart of all signature shoes at $110. So, no, did you see the play?
Not live. I watched it afterwards,
That's what I was telling you last night as we were texting. I'm trying to, I try to stay away from the socials if I'm recording a show. Are you like that? You don't really like to watch sports on?
No, it's got to be live. It's got to be in its purest form. I'll go back and
watch
highlights.
You want the purest, huh?
Yeah. So, if it's a game that I want to watch, then I'm going to watch it live. But if I'm mildly interested, then I'll go back and watch some highlights maybe later on. But no, in terms of like DVRing it and coming back and sitting down after the fact, no.
See, what I like to do is I like to wait about an hour into the game and then go in and start watching it, because then I can fast forward through all the commercials. The commercials are what drive me crazy.
And then you catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And then by the end of the game, I'm all caught up and everything's good to go. But my problem is that I end up getting, doing something else. I get sidetracked, and like last night, I'm just scrolling through and I forget that I was going to watch it. Like I forgot my name earlier when I announced the show. That one is worse than when I just flat out. What is Wes drinking?
Same thing.
We are enjoying a Moscow Mule this evening. We've got the old Chopin potato vodka back here. Mr. Estes was saying that he prefers high school hoops. I think, Mr. Estes, though, you are maybe that's kind of your thing, though.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You like high school over all of them, and you spent a lot of time doing that. So I just came from a 7th grade basketball game. Jim Tegard, Derek's team, put the whoop on Henkel from White Salmon.
Henkel?
Yeah, Henkel is the name. Like
the knife company?
I don't know.
Henkel? No, sorry. Go ahead.
I thought it was Finkel, and I just kept yelling laces
Finkel?
out at the game, and everyone kept looking at me really weird. No, they're up in White Salmon at the old the school complex there. It's everything is all right there. So anyway, no, I thought that it was rather entertaining, everything, and then you have the memes that come out from
the thing that cracked me up about the whole situation is leading up to it, the days leading up to the game, you heard about the ticket prices, the secondary markets being like Super Bowl prices.
No, they exceeded it.
Yeah. And to have the star player, basically, you're paying the big bucks to see this dude. He's the number one guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, 33 seconds into the game?
36.
It was when this incident happened.
Yeah.
So, he's basically missed pretty much the entire game. So, these people dumping thousands of bucks on tickets to see him, and he's in there for 30 seconds and he's gone.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, the average price of the tickets was... $2,600 to $10,000.
Yeah, I think the nosebleeds were going for over $2,000.
Yeah, which is crazy because the average Super Bowl ticket I think was between $2,500 and $3,000, somewhere around there. But you have to understand that Cameron Indoor Stadium only holds 9,000 people.
Yeah,
that place is kind of a bucket list for me to go to. I'm not big on college basketball, although I forgot to. Now that we're talking about the Blazer game, Big Daddy and I are going up to Seattle to the Oregon State UW game the day before. He won tickets.
Whoa.
Through, I can't remember where he won them, but yeah, he won them. So that Wednesday, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do our recording schedule. This is a meeting as well.
Yeah.
Don't say men can't multitask, kids, because we can. Anyway, so yeah, he won tickets. So we're going up to UW on Wednesday.
Wednesday the 6th.
Yeah, Wednesday the 6th. So nice. I'm all over the basketball.
Yeah,
this year I've been really big in basketball, though. I don't know. Although now I really want to get into this AAF.
AAF. Yeah.
AAF. Yeah. I'm not seeing much coverage of that, though. That's any sports talk, anything.
Right,
like
yeah.
that.
It's kind of, it's getting good viewership, but it's kind of flying under the radar. But the interesting thing is, I don't know if you saw that evidently there was rumors that they were having trouble making payroll after the first week.
And, it was a glitch.
And was it okay? But then they took on a new majority owner, that NHL owner, $250 million. Yeah,
from the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, he dumped 250, and so now he's the czar of the AAF, or what is it? AAF?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alliance of American Football.
Okay. Yeah. No, he dropped $250 million on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is not a good look for them to miss their payment on the first week.
Yeah.
Now they blamed it on a technical glitch, but I've still got to say that I don't understand how on earth you can screw that up. You got one shot at doing this, and I don't know how you do it, but it's one of those things that they're hopefully going to get through it. But you said everyone makes $300,000 over or $275,000.
It's like $275 for a 3-year contract. It's flat deal across the board.
But it's only 8 games, right?
10
games.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about it, it's really not that bad of money for those guys.
Right.
I mean, maybe they'll get some and the opportunity to be showcased.
Exactly right.
That's the big thing. So no, I'm hoping that that it's going to be good. I just don't want them to get sucked into the BS like the XFL.
Yeah, see, and I think they're insulated from that because it's not as gimmicky as the XFL, at least the previous iteration of it. I don't know what the new one's going to look like, but it's not as gimmicky. It's pretty pure football, and it's pretty true to form. Like I said, we talked about it last episode, the few kind of rule changes they made, which I actually like. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's legit football. It's not gimmicky, so...
Although, except, one guy did throw a behind-the-back, no-look pass. You're not going to see... Pat Mahomes...
I was going to say, I can see Mahomes doing... Yeah.
That was pretty incredible, though.
There's no-look pass?
Oh, Mahomes is the guy. Yeah,
Mahomes.
But this guy was... He was turned... He had his back to him.
Right, he was getting spun down by a D lineman, and he chucked it over his shoulder.
As much as I I love good passes like that. I don't know that that's, you're not going to see that in the NFL. That's for sure. But,
although there's some quarterbacks that are foolish enough to make those kind of throws. Hey, and speaking of the...
No, go ahead. Speaking of what?
No, we're going to segue into the NFL quarterback that we talked about the other day. Was that on your list?
I'm open to anything.
Seattle Seahawks, the rumors and whispers.
Wes posts this on Facebook because if there's anything that Wes loves to do, that is fire up Seahawk fans. Because for some reason, being an Aints fan, he's got to just needle him. So we've got Russell Wilson, and I think that it is. I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere. I really don't. Yeah. But on the off chance that he does, you're exactly right. Seattle will melt down, and there will be homeless people everywhere because people will just light their houses on fire.
Exactly.
But I mean, do you really think that he would sell out for something like that?
Well, it's not about necessarily him selling out. He's entering the final year of his contract, and the speculation was if Seattle doesn't think they can afford to keep him, that they'll deal him for some really high draft picks. But then story, which I don't put as much weight into, is that his wife Ciara would rather be in New York since she's a singer, and she'd rather be around the entertainment capital kind of thing. Which that I don't know if I really buy that, but the logic behind his the Giants' supposed interest in him is that he is entering the final year of his contract, and there's questions about. I mean, he's obviously going to command a huge contract.
Oh yeah.
So the questions about whether or not the Seahawks can pony up for that, or do they know that they're going to be outpriced? So should they just sell him off now and get some really good return for him?
See, I don't know that. I mean, I could see him going to New York because of Ciara. He spends a lot of time there, I think, during the off season. In fact, a few weeks ago, he was just there because he called into Dan Patrick while he was in New York. So, I mean, I know he spends some time there, but I think he's so ingratiated with the fans in Seattle.
Yeah.
I think he's set up such a, I guess, a narrative. There is in my opinion, such thing as the Russell Wilson effect, and everything he does turns to gold.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to say. And now this is the one thing that I would think would hold him back is his increased support of the Portland Diamond Project.
I forgot about that. That's true.
That's when I was thinking about it, I mean he's been pressing it pretty hard, and I think he's got a financial stake in it.
Yeah.
And so I can't see that.
But it's not to say that you couldn't do that from long distance. I mean, you could still have a stake in a
yeah. But from
team.
New York to here, I think that's a really big stretch to be involved in that, because I still think he's got the thought of maybe playing someday.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's always out there with the Yankees and stuff like that, but I think
Rangers, or they deal him to the Yankees. No.
He usually, I think he goes to the Yankees.
Well, he was with the Rangers, but
I think the Rangers owned his rights for a while.
Yeah.
But let me look. I'll look real quick, but I think he really wants to see things. He'll go to. Let's see here. Wait,
I think you're right. I think they might have dealt his rights to the Yankees.
Well, he was with the. I think he was with the. Yeah, he'll attend spring training with the Yankees again in 2019.
So I think last year was his first year with the Yankees.
Yeah. So, and there's no better team for him to be involved with than the New York Yankees. Did you? I actually heard this the other day. I know you just left me hanging there. The Yankees have the #1 rated clubhouse buffet, and this comes from Major League Baseball players. I actually saw this on Barstool the other day.
Do they provide the spread to the visiting team too in the visiting clubhouse?
Yes. No, that's what it was.
Okay.
The team, the players were talking about how. I mean, they have like lobster. They've got a sushi station. They've got like 5 stations, and they've got
it's like a Vegas buffet with the live action stations going on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like super high quality food. Mr. Esses brings up a good point. He says, "Ask yourself how Paul Allen's death will affect the situation." Yeah. I think it's like asking yourself with Damian, because we have there's a concern that Damian could leave Portland. as Portland would Damian is the same thing to Portland as Russell is to Seattle.
Right.
He is the
face of the franchise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, though, I think that there is a better chance that Russell leaves and Damian doesn't.
But see, I mean, yeah, I can see that, but weren't the Blazers fans telling themselves that about LA before he bailed to the Spurs?
This is the thing I'll say about the two of them. I'm talking about Russell Wilson and Damian Lillard. Russell Wilson, to me, he's the Mr. Rogers of football. And I think it's an act. I don't know that, I mean, he has crafted an image for himself that is very well manicured. Mm-hmm. If there's anyone that I think is not as probably sincere in real life as they appear, it would be Russell Wilson. I think Damian he has a very stellar look to him as well. I mean, the way people look at him is of high, or they look at him in a high regard. But for some reason, I think Damian appeals to me as a fan much more, because Russell just comes off as too clean, too perfect. And you hear rumblings about him being, all about Russell, but and I'm not trying to take away anything away from the things that he does, because he does tremendous amount in the community and stuff like that. But for some reason, it feels manufactured to me. Whereas Damian he just is what he is,
right? And
he lets his play on the court do the talking. And so for some reason for me, and I honestly think that Dame wants to stay in Portland far more than Russell would want to stay in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's just a feeling I get. What do you think about that? Do you think that out of the two of them, I mean, comparing the two, and we're talking about I saw Kelly Weisman sign on. What up, Weiss? How you doing, buddy? So I was like, Paul Weisman. Hey, Kelly, do you have anybody named Paul in your family? No.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see, like Mr. S has brought up with the death of Paul Allen, how that's going to affect through the estate. What's going to happen to the ownership with those two teams.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. I think that when it comes down to it, though, I do believe that Seattle is as at risk for being sold to somebody that could be kind of nefarious, but for some reason I have a good feeling about the basketball team.
So who is it, like a trust that this is in, or is it like a family member that's controlling it, or what?
No, I believe it's his trust. It's probably Vulcan Trust or something like that. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but
yeah.
I think that the Blazers are in better hands. I think Olshey does a good job, although Canzano brought up a really good point today, saying that going into the trade deadline and things like that, he didn't really didn't do anything to blow anyone's socks off.
Mm-hmm.
You got Enes Kanter, who is kind of Twitter famous, and then
wanted by the Turkish government.
No, the other. Rodney Hood is, I don't know how much you know about the Blazers and what their day-to-day operations are, which is probably not much, am I right?
No.
Nah. This is what I love about Wes and drinking, is that the deeper he gets into his glass, the closer his face resembles his shirt.
Really?
Yeah, bright red. Yeah. Look at you. Look at the monitor. It's pretty awesome. So speaking of baseball and all that, one of the things that I wanted to get into was the fact that we are today.
3 weeks. Well, no.
Spring training started today. Or the game started today.
Because I draft in 3 weeks for my fantasy league, so I think it's about 4 weeks is when the legit games start.
Well, yeah. I mean, the regular season opens
March
usually
26.
Does it?
It's in March this year. Yeah, they backed it up because they don't want the World Series precedent
going into November.
Yeah, so they're trying to back the whole thing up.
I remember when 9/11 happened, and that was the first time they'd ever played in November for the World Series.
Yeah,
because the Yanks were in the World Series that year. That was just crazy to think about that. As they've been around so long. Oh, we do have this day in sports that is a baseball related one. And that is, today, in 1887, Okay, in baseball today, or no, yesterday. I'm going to go this week in sports.
Abner Doubleday?
No, not Abner Doubleday. And
What?
No, I'm
Baseball.
saying I understand that. What could have happened in 1887 yesterday? Oh yeah, we do. We have we're playing over in Japan for. Is it World Baseball Classic?
No, it's Mariners and A's are playing
Is
a
it?
legit series, a 2-game series over there to open the regular season. So that's 3 weeks. That's like the 20th and 21st are in Japan at the Tokyo Dome, and those games count. So what happened in baseball on this
yesterday in 1887?
Is it like an event, or are we talking a specific player did something?
No, it's an event.
It's an event? Mm-hmm. Is that when like MLB was incorporated?
No.
Was it what?
We'll skip the niceties here. It was the first day that a minor league baseball. It was the first game played in minor league baseball. So I didn't know that either. Yep, it was today the first minor league baseball association. Oh no, it was organized in Pittsburgh. That's what it was. So that was. I thought that was.
Look
cool.
at Hojo with some side trivia.
Oh, what do we got here? No way. Well, you would know that because it's on every single sweatshirt that Hojo owns. She's like, look down. Yeah, yesterday, or this year, right? No. Anyway, no. So I wanted to get into that. Now that we do have baseball coming up, and you and I are big baseball fans. I am obviously. This is how big a Yankee fan I am. I've got a dog named Bronx. I've got one of my sons named Derek. My dog that has passed away was named Mattingly.
Yeah.
I had a chicken named Sandman, and I had a chicken named Jorge.
Jorge, that's right. I remember that.
Remember Jorge? Jorge was my man, but he got eaten by a cat. Some feral cat got him, and Jorge came out and he was dead. He was gone. So, what else do I have? I've got a pistol named Roger. What else do I have? Anything else? I'm sure there's some.
Did you name some A-Rod?
No, because despite the fact that A-Rod is back in my good graces, and he won a World Series with the Yankees, and he was a major contributing factor to that season. He's still not a Yankee. I mean, I guess I'll begrudgingly give him his pinstripes. I just don't. No, whoa, Reggie. Yeah, no, I don't have any. You got to give me some time, David. I have to name things. I can't just name everything. So, and Reggie wasn't in my era. So I've been sticking with my core guys. I got to get a Musina, something. I got to name something Moose. Musina. Yeah, Moose, exactly.
There you go.
Maybe the next dog.
I was going to say, so A-Rod contributed to them winning the World Series, or was it the
in
PEDs?
09. The what?
Or was it
gosh,
the PEDs?
Here we go. You know what? Have you listened to him talk about that? I mean, he's very upfront about it, and he's, the one thing I got to do is I got to give him credit for the fact that he really does. I mean, he has owned up to his nefarious activities.
Yeah.
And although, you know what I saw that was so awesome? Did you see what Jose Canseco you can do with him? If we had a bigger budget here at KCP, I would take advantage of this. You can go, I believe it is Sasquatch hunting with him for $5,000.
That dude sells himself right and left to make a buck.
He is a whore for money. It was they were only taking. They were going hunting for something, and I want to say that it was a Sasquatch or something like
awesome.
that. But it was $5,000 a person, and they were only taking 26 or something like that. But
wow.
Oh, wow. This is as always, the comment section they're like the Hindenburg. They are. As the farther you and I get into a show, how far are we into the show? Oh, boy, that is not good.
Oh, we evidently paused the show.
Yeah, we did. Well, it's a good thing we're recording on Facebook because my usage of the interwebs decided to crash the show. Well, there we go. Wait, hold on. No, don't hit that button. Man, this is what happens. Every time I'm drinking, our stuff goes sideways. But actually, now that I remembered to pull down 73 the other day, the audio wasn't that bad when we were wearing the lavs. It doesn't do bad at all. In fact, I'm just going to kill this because it's not going to like what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, were we going to segue into the World Series action?
Yes, we are. Hold on just 1 second as I... okay, that's fine. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties here.
The mainframe melting down?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, here's what the problem is that I save all this stuff up. I save everything, and then I have to do a dump onto the 6 terabyte drive, and if I don't do that on a regular basis, because this stuff takes up like a gig and a half every time, and so then it is amazing the resources that this is the problem right here. Stupid ESPN is what crashed the whole thing, because I even get a note. This web page was reloaded because it was using significant
sucks a bunch
energy.
Of memory. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it does.
It's horrible. But yeah, no, we wanted to get into some of the odds coming out for the World Series. So we'll cover the big ones. I'm not going to get into like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and whatnot. So coming out of the AL East, we got Boston at 7-1 and the Yankees at 6-1. What do you think? What do you think of those two? We'll just cover the
so they're liking the Yankees more. So,
which is very surprising to me, given the fact that
it's not to me, because Boston's kind of fractured, at least with their pitching staff, has gone downhill.
Yes, and the Yankees do have the biggest strong point that the Yankees have, in my opinion, is their bullpen. I think that is what is going to set them apart from a number of teams.
Chapman, you got Britton they just brought in. Yep. Who else is there? Betances.
Well, he's been there.
But that's it. But they got 3 guys, so that's like 7, 8, and 9. You got locked down. If your starter can get you through 6, then you got it made.
Yeah, but that's the problem with modern day baseball. It's a 5-inning game.
Right, you can't even go 6.
You can't. I mean, it's incredible. Catfish Hunter is sitting there rolling over in his. I don't know if he's even.
No, I think he's alive still.
Probably.
Last I checked, I don't know.
Yeah, your Catfish Hunter app. Like, is Catfish alive? That's what we should do. Just is that guy alive app, where you can just search if somebody's dead or not. That's a great idea for an app. Somebody write that down. And see, look at this. They're just flaming the usage of alcohol. Let's see. We'll get into
Cards at 1 and 5. Wait a minute.
I know. We're going to pull it up here in just a second. So coming out of the AL East, you're thinking. What's your thoughts?
Who's going to win the division?
Who's the division winner and who's? Well, yeah. I mean, that's going to
the Yanks. I think Boston's on the way down because they got Chris Sale still, but Kimbrel's gone. He's still in free agent limbo. But Kimbrel's gone. There's just not much. Joe Kelly's gone. He was another decent reliever, former Cardinal.
Every former Cardinal.
But there's not much in the way of pitching, I don't think. I don't feel like, at least, for Boston. So I think they still have a good offense.
Yeah.
But the pitching doesn't do anything for me.
And this is what I'm going to say to that. The teams that stack up, and we'll get into the Machado thing here in a minute, but the teams that stack up on offense look really good on paper, and I think they sell a lot of tickets because of it. But in October, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all about your ability to pitch. I mean, look at what the Red Sox did when they had Kurt Schilling.
Right.
Look what the Diamondbacks did when they had Schilling and Randy Johnson.
The unit, yeah.
They were, you couldn't touch them. Maybe it was the force field because of the bloody sock. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying that's what wins it. And that's look what the Yankees rotation was from 96 to 2000.
Right.
I mean, it was unstoppable.
Yeah.
So we got the AL Central here. We got the Indians at 10-1, the Twins at 30-1, and the Tigers at 1,000-1. That's the money that he made there in the Tigers. What's that?
That's the only 3 teams they listed for the Central, or is it worse?
No. We got the White Sox at 60-1, and the Royals at 1,000-1 as well, which is killing me because
I don't know.
They won 3 years ago?
Yeah, because the Royals.
2015?
But again, it's their. I think their pitching staff and their offense leaves a little to be desired. They got some quality people there, but I'm with the odds on that. I take the Indians all day in the Central.
Yeah, I think the Indians have a good team. Francona's still the manager there, right?
Tito, yeah.
I love Francona. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
he's one. I mean, but he is the most old school baseball. Because I don't know if you have noticed this or what, but there's baseball guys. Like you couldn't explain rocket science to them whatsoever, but they're just like the bro. And the one thing I found yesterday, I found Aubrey Huff's his blog. So, and I guess he could, by the SJWs on Twitter, he could probably flame to no end, but he wrote an article or a blog post on his blog about what it's like, life after the game and things like that. And I really got a kick out of it. Not so much kick. It was just enlightening to see the things that these guys go through. And, you can say, there's people that are poor and all that. Well, everyone is a product of their environment. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's not a poor person. It's, he has problems. Yes, he has money, but everyone equates having a lot of money to having very few problems, which is, there's nothing that can be farther from the truth than that, right?
Yeah.
And so he talked about after he retired and the depression he went through and things like that because of the things that the game provided him that were not money, which was, you have an accountability to your team. You have camaraderie with your players. Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. There was plenty of women around.
But it's also because if you're a creature of habit and you're doing this for like 10, 15, 12 years, whatever, it's the same thing day in, day out. Even in your off-season training regimen, you do the same stuff every off-season to prep for the start of the season, and then all of a sudden that's gone. You don't have to do any of that after you've been doing the same thing for 10 plus years.
Yeah. Well, and you have, if you play 162 games a year, and so you average 1 to 2 days off per month. So that means that 29 days a month you're doing the exact same thing.
Right.
And on the off chance that you do have a day off, you go and go on a picnic with your family or something. But by and large, you're playing baseball 6 months a year.
Yeah.
And so you're exactly right. I'm sure that after the season is over, you go on a vacation for, I'd probably take a month off.
Yeah.
And then after that, you got to get back into training shape and all those things. And depending on what team you're on, because at the end of September is when the season is over. But the playoffs, unlike the NBA playoffs, they're done by the end of October. They're not a 3.5 month, tour, which is still amazing to me that basketball goes that long. But anyway, I'm going to put a link into the after show notes for Huff because I just stumbled upon it yesterday, and I have no idea what it's like to be worth $30 million, but it is neat I love to see people humanized, and especially when they do it on their own account. And he was very upfront and honest about the dark places and why he thought so many professional athletes are broke by the time, 5 years after their, what is it? Yeah, it's 5 years on average. Most pro athletes are in the NBA. I think it's 3, something like that. But anyway, let's get back to baseball. So we got the AL West, which it's
Give me
still
the Stros.
It kills me to see the Stros in the AL. I still can't
get rid of. Yeah, no. I'm used to the NL Central with the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I mean, they're right up your alley. Yeah, they're going off at 6-1, and then the A's go off at 25-1. I would say that to win I understand that to win the World Series is a tall stretch for the A's, but to win the pennant, maybe. I think that's a dark horse. You could get a good price on that.
And they had a great year last year and kind of fizzed out at the end, but I mean they could replicate that this year. I don't see why they couldn't be a surprise team and get themselves into the playoffs and make a little run. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run or at least got in the playoffs because you got the Mariners going off at 1,000-1.
Speaking of the Mariners, that's another side note for a good story is that I bought Mariners Cardinals tickets.
Yeah, I
for
saw
July.
that. Are you excited about that?
Fired up.
I
Yep.
know you are. July 3rd, right?
July 3rd.
That's
Got
gonna
great seats.
What'd you get?
The 200 level, their club level with the wide padded seats there. Right in, it's the first section next to the press box.
Okay.
So you're almost behind the plate. I mean, you're kind of swung around behind the plate. And third row.
Very nice. So
that'll be
now,
so
how
good.
many games are you going to? Just one?
It's that one. Yeah.
What is your what is your go-to when you get to a ballpark? Wow.
What's like the first thing I do?
Yeah,
We go watch
exactly.
BP.
Okay,
We get there
no,
when
I'm
the
talking
gates
about-
open. Are
I'm
you
not-
talking about like food?
No, I'm just talking. Do you head? No, what the hell? Do you head? So you hit BP. So you're there a couple hours in advance.
When the gates open 2 hours in
Okay,
advance.
so
yeah.
they for a 7:00 game they open at 5. So you're there watching BP doing all. I like that too. I've probably only done it a couple of times. I used to go up there. I'm going to try this year when they play the Yankees.
Yeah.
But they always play. They used to play them twice a year at home. Now I'll bet you for the last 6-7 years they've been playing 2 series in New York, one in Seattle, and they have been playing during the week. Well, what a pain in the neck. One time I took Brandon up there. I think he was 7 or 8, and he and I went up to a game. He was in school and whatnot, but got tickets, and just he and I went up there, and he stuffed his face full of all kinds of food. But for me, the thing that I love about Safeco the most is that
it's not Safeco anymore.
it isn't. What is it called now?
T-Mobile Park.
Oh,
I know.
it's
It doesn't
gonna be
roll
the
off the
giant,
tongue.
the giant pink taco.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it's going to be. The fact that it's such a tight viewing area. It's so
great park.
small.
Great park.
It's a phenomenal park.
Yeah.
There's not a bad seat there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was saying, what do you do when you go up? For me, I go and I don't sit in my seat. I go buy, I'll buy seats out in left field, and that's great. But for me, I am all about just walking around and seeing everything under the sun that I can, different vantage points, because if you walk around the mezzanine level, you're easy, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. We don't even have to talk into these things.
That's true. We don't, do we?
But it's such a habit.
We pretty much focus on BP. It seems like we watch BP, and then when they're done with that and they start rolling up the tarps and dragging the net away, the screen away, then we'll go grab some food and then find our seats. That's kind of the usual thing. So.
Yeah. Well, let's finish up the old. Let's get in the NL. We got the Braves going off at 18-1, and the Nats going at 12, and the Phillies at 14. The NL East is going to shape up to be a dang good team.
What's going to be a game changer is where Bryce Harper ends up at, because there's still a lot of whispers that he may end up with the Phillies. So I
think that's where he's going.
If he signs with the Phillies, those odds are going to change.
Yeah, they'll go to 10-1, I bet.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's the Braves are sneaky good for being. What was it? 4 or 5 years ago, they were in last place. They were terrible, and they've really come a long way. They've really rebuilt themselves really well.
Yeah.
And with the Nationals losing Harper, I don't know. I think that's kind of generous, giving them those.
Well, from everything I've heard, though, the Nats are actually still in the running.
Yeah.
There is a chance that they could still land him.
Yeah.
But first of all, I think it's obnoxious that we're in spring training and starting games, and there are still half of the free agents.
That happened last year, too. It's the same story as last year.
They need to get that locked up.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they even allow that. But no, I think the Nats have a good team. I like the Nats pitching. Not that I know that much about it. The thing that I love is that the Mets have not a chance. I don't know why I have such an issue with the Mets, but
good thing Brian's not listening. Huh?
I know. Well, yeah. Big Daddy hopefully he is listening, because we want to hear that. So we got the Central going off.
You know it.
That's where you come in.
That's right.
The Brew Crew at 18-1. Now the Brew Crew came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. They really did, and I think
Yelich paid dividends for him big time with Mr. MVP.
Yeah, you think?
And Kane, Lorenzo Kane had some good pickups last year in free agency.
Well, Lorenzo Kane came over from...
He's free agent from the Royals.
From the Royals, okay, yep. So we got the Cubs going off at 12-1, your favorite, second favorite team, right?
Yeah, right.
And the Cards at 12-1 as well.
Yeah, I'm liking the Cards' chances. The Cubs, I think they're on the downhill trend now. They were supposedly high flying last year, and they kind of fizzed out. And they're just another year older. And I read there's a lot of turmoil front office wise about Madden not getting along necessarily with the GM, and this is his last year under contract, Joe Madden, the manager, and it's pretty much publicly known that they're going to let him walk after this year. They have no interest in re-signing him.
Really? That's very surprising.
Which is surprising.
He brought them a title.
Right, exactly.
He's a good guy. He's a good manager.
So there's obviously some sort of friction going on because, like you said, he turned that franchise around. Yeah. And for you not to want to retain him, something funny's going on.
Yeah. So, well, I like Madden, but I think, as much crap as I give you about the Cards, they have a very, very well-run organization.
Yeah.
And that's, them. And I think that the number one thing that shows that is that they didn't sign Pujols. Yep. I think that was one of the smartest things that
they've had
business
several very shrewd moves. Prior to Pujols leaving was Alan Craig, who was incredible player, like 5'2" player, ton of power, played some first base, played third, played I think maybe some corner outfield too. Anyway, he was due. Was he? I can't remember if he was a mid-season trade in this final year of his contract, or if they let him walk as a free agent. But same thing, he was due for a big payday because he'd had 2 or 3 years of outstanding production.
Yeah.
And they let him go, and the Cardinals fan base went nuts. Like, how can you let this guy go? So the Red Sox sign him, and what happens? He gets hurt the first year, done, never comes back.
Well, now, we can't use the fact that he got hurt as reason.
But same thing with Pujols. Pujols started getting dinged up, and he never played a full season once he left St. Louis, it seems like. So it's almost like they can see guys beginning to break down, and so they're willing to let them walk because they think they're on the downhill slide kind of thing. And they seem to be able to read players pretty well and knowing when to cut ties. So.
And that goes to their scouting department and having a good manager and a good GM.
Yep.
Because talent evaluation and not letting the public, because why would we ever let the public get into our consciousness if we're running a business? What's the number one rule in gambling? Fade the public.
Yeah.
Because the public uses this.
Yeah.
Not that. And when you have a vested interest, whether it's you as a fan or the guy down the road, it doesn't matter. You're not using the analytics, and I'm not trying to get into Moneyball and all that. I'm talking about just looking at a player with a level head like Pujols, who, if you don't even know how old the guy is, how do you make a good decision about what he's going to do in the future if you can't even peg what day he was born? Right? I mean, how do you say, because there's a huge difference in baseball between 32 and 36.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Edgar Martinez, there's always a one-off or something like that, but
that's because he never had to throw or catch a ball.
I knew you were going to say that. You got to go into DH. You're such a hater on the DH. Okay, let's get into this. Let's finish this up here. We got the NL West, the Dodgers at 7-1. Do you think that they're going to win the pennant?
And it's going to be interesting because Machado helped press them through the playoffs, and now Machado's on the Padres. He just signed the Padres, the division rival. So, and I think the Padres.
Yeah, but the Dodgers are not. The Padres are not their division rival. San Francisco is their rival.
And that's the other part of the equation that comes in too. Is San Francisco is rumored to be in hot on Harper. Mm-hmm. So, but San Francisco's had some lean years. They've had some issues.
Well, they were either not making the playoffs or winning the World Series.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty incredible.
It's all or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I don't know. And they're going off at 200-1, but the Fathers are at 50-1.
Yeah.
And I think that the Dodgers are.
Yeah.
They have a damn good team.
Yeah.
They really do. And they were in the World Series last year.
Yep.
There's no reason to believe that they won't be there this year.
Yeah.
Coming out of the NL, unless your team can finally get some stuff figured out. You think they can or not?
I think it's going to be. I think they'll make the playoffs this year, which they haven't. And this will be they haven't in the last 3 years. They've missed the playoffs or 2, 3. Anyway, but the signing or the trade for Paul Goldschmidt at first base is going to be awesome. And there was one ESPN, who's the former Reds GM that works? Bowden? No. Jim Bowden.
Okay.
On ESPN. I think he's a former GM for the Cincinnati Reds. He's now an analyst on ESPN. He thinks it was his bold prediction that Goldschmidt will have a better year than either Harper or Machado. That Goldschmidt's going to be like an MVP type of year with the Cardinals this year. So I don't know if that'd be a sweet deal if it was true. But I think even if he plays to his average self, which is a phenomenal player, because they were kind of hodgepodge at first base last year. They had a few guys playing first. It was kind of a platoon situation at first. But to have a marquee first baseman, a guy that is widely recognized as the best defensive first baseman in all of baseball. He's won multiple Gold Gloves. And he hits for good average. He hits over 300 every year. He steals, for a big first baseman, he steals like 15 to 20 bases every year, which is pretty incredible.
That is incredible for a first baseman. Because
yeah.
I was a first baseman. We're not exactly known for our wheels.
Yeah, and he's got good power. He hits in the mid-30s, to 40-ish home runs every year. So I think that signing, that trade, gives him a really good chance in the Central. And it's always comes down, it seems to they always have injury issues that kind of, slow them down the stretch. Yeah, that's
the problem with the injuries is that you can't foresee them. I mean, like saying that I don't know, I can't remember who you were saying. Ended up not playing. Alan Craig. That, I mean, who knows what would have happened. It's just like Brandon Roy with the Blazers if he didn't have his knee issues or whatever. But I wanted to, I had to explain that to Derek the other day.
Oh, man.
We were talking about Durant, and he was talking. We're watching the game, and it was when the Blazers were playing the
Warriors. No, yeah.
And I said,
him.
Yeah, I said, he was the number 2 pick. Oh, who did they take, Dad? I said, oh, here we go.
The guy that's no longer here.
No, he's no longer anywhere. I think he's playing at a YMCA somewhere down in Ohio somewhere. I mean, he made his money, and nice guy, whatever. I mean, I don't know him, but
so that's obviously the Blazers have 2 bouts of infamy. That's one, and then the whole Michael Jordan thing was the other. Now, so that's a couple of huge blows that the franchise took by drafting somebody over someone else, and that other person ended up being an absolute superstar who they could have had.
Well, I mean, arguably, probably top 20 in the history of the NBA, because he is arguably the best player in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, LeBron is still LeBron, but if you put the whole package together, I think I'd rather have Durant than LeBron.
Yeah, well, especially at this current stage right now.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's younger. Right. I understand that, but it's the whole package that comes with LeBron is so irritating. Yeah. I mean, the whole, I don't know, everything about him. But I wanted to talk about Machado real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think that, one of the questions I had was, do you think that they should put an end to these 10-year contracts? I think it's the most obnoxious thing. In some way, do you think they should sanction that?
I don't, because I agree it's obnoxious, but if the team wants to risk it and the player gets hurt after 5, of course you got insurance backing you up on that. But if you're going to blow payroll on somebody who flames out halfway through their contract, too bad on you. That's on you. You're going to have to eat a bunch of payroll. So
I think though that, and I'm not a fan of regulation of almost anything. I think a free market should determine dang near everything. I think the problem is that, and I'm a Yankees fan, so we can be in the running for any player in any facet of the game, because money is not an option for the Yankees. But in the interest of not ruining a franchise like San Diego just did. I mean, San Diego just mortgaged their entire future. Mm-hmm. It's the largest contract in the history of sports.
Right.
$300 million for 10 years for that caliber of player. And when I say caliber, I'm not talking about high caliber. I mean, the guy is not well known for actually trying. He strikes me as one of those players that firmly relies upon his natural God-given talent rather than getting out
going
there.
Above and beyond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying there's one specific. Well, you're exactly right. you'd had to free enterprise, free to overpay players for too long. That's exactly right. I mean, ultimately, I think that is the way that it should play, and I don't want to see regulation come in. But and the Royals and the Cardinals are teams that have shown that you can buck the trend, and that it's not just the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers winning the World Series. Because Houston's got a hell of a team still.
Yeah,
coming out of the West.
The other side of that too is, not that I'm a Bernie Sanders socialist fan, but you got the revenue sharing with the luxury tax. So if you exceed a threshold, you pay a luxury tax, and that is divvied up among the lower half of the teams.
Exactly.
But then that also then introduces another issue that there have been complaints about by the teams that are getting taxed, the higher payroll teams, is that they are complaining that when you're redistributing their wealth down to the lower teams, those teams aren't
eating it.
They're banking it. Yeah. Exactly. They're not using that towards payroll, which is what that was designed to do. They're still running a bare bones payroll year after year, and they're just banking their $50 million luxury tax check, that refund that's coming to them or whatever. Yeah. So, I have heard talk about them introducing rules about, if you need to show that you're spending that money on an on-field product. You're not just banking it. You're actually going out and trying to acquire talent with that money that you've been given.
Well, I think there's a difference, though, between running a business and running a baseball team. Okay, if you're running a sports franchise as a business, or if you're running it as a sports franchise as a franchise, one of them looks at the bottom line. One of them looks at rings. And I honestly don't know that you can have both in Major League Baseball. The NFL, you can absolutely have that because they're so flush with money. Mm-hmm. And if you're the Yankees or the Bo Sox or the Dodgers,
right,
you can do that as well. Mm-hmm. I think that because the markets that they operate in, New York and LA being the biggest markets in the U.S. and Boston being just a bunch of lunatics that don't have anything better to do. Yeah. They're miserable shits. I'm sorry, Boston, but you are, okay? Really call a spade a spade. But if you're Milwaukee or you're the Cardinals, for that matter, you have to have some semblance of financial, just responsibility. And so I can see why a team like I don't care, name a team, Milwaukee Brewers, takes the money and runs, because those guys. I mean, honestly, when's the last time we're going to see the Brewers? I mean, last year they had a hell of a good team.
And with them, they did invest. You've got Yelich and Kane, along with some of the pitching staff escapes me now, but it's the other people that are perennial cellar dwellers, like your boy Jeet's team. The Marlins, and then,
although they've won, they do what
they win, and they have a fire sale.
But what are you going to do?
Right?
You have to. Yeah. You don't have a choice. You're not in New York, so you can't do that.
But then Tampa is another one. The Rays. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had a few good years a while back ago, but since then they've been scraping the bottom, and so you always have, and even up until recently, the Padres were kind of like that too. The Padres are always terrible, and they're finally starting to try.
I could not believe
improve themselves.
That they signed
Machado. Yeah.
I really couldn't.
When they had an offer on the table to Harper too. They were going. Yeah. They had offers to both of them, and it was like first come first served kind
of thing.
And
I would have taken Harper any day.
Yeah.
Over Machado.
Yeah.
I think that Machado had one really good year, but Harper has been transcendent since he was 16. Machado has not.
The interesting thing to me in going back and looking at the stats with Harper is that his batting average has taken a huge hit over the last 2 years.
He's been trying to hit the long ball.
So he needs to reevaluate things. So I think he hit like 243 last year.
Yeah,
he was because when he first came in the league, he was a decent high average hitter.
Yeah. And
in the last couple of years, his average has really been tanking. So that's kind of surprising to me that versus Machado is a high average hitter, not quite as much power as Harper. But it's interesting to me that that's obviously back to the whole chicks dig the long ball thing. It's even
with
with Harper's average tailing off he's still going to command probably, he may top Machado's contract. He's still going to command huge dollars, even though his batting average has taken a little bit of a dive.
As long as Adam Dunn can be looked at as a player that played is almost. I mean, the number of strikeouts that he had was so incredible, but he put up the long ball.
Yeah.
And that's what puts butts in seats, and it scores runs.
Yep.
It's what you need.
Yeah.
You'll fade the 200
strikeouts
so that you can get the 60 home runs. So with that, I have no idea how long we've run.
Who knows?
Because the computer crashed and the drink's almost gone. So, we've got people still hanging with us. I appreciate you guys watching. This is the first of many new fun shows. The show will ebb and flow every week. Today was pretty baseball heavy, but we'll it could be food. As soon as the weather clears up, we're going to be back out there. We got some good stuff. I really feel like we need to do a whole hog at some point.
Ooh.
And maybe even have some loyal viewers and listeners join us for that. So anyway, with that, this has been the KCP Cocktail Hour. If you guys have any recommendations for a name for this show, we would definitely appreciate that. We've been racking our brains. I came up with Diamond Dads to go with Platinum Moms.
Dad Buds.
We've got all kinds of stuff. So we're open to suggestions. So if you're listening to the podcast, hit us up at will@kineticchaos.com. Make a comment on anything on the website. Check out Platinum Moms, KCP Kids, all of the above. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
He's got nothing. Neither do I. With that, we go.
See you guys later.
I have to say it like that because then I go back and I cut this part out where I go and shut Facebook off.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to go. Yeah, I got to go clip the audio for that. And dogs. No, we're not Diamond Dads.
Diamond Dallas Page. Right?
Throw it up.
Right?
DDP, baby. Thanks for watching, kids.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a kid.